So today I made about $47,000 day trading Amazon, as you guys can see here. I day traded the name twice. I played the upside and then I played the downside. I made about 56,000 on the first trade, about a 4R, and lost about 10,000 on the second trade with a negative 1.6R, which wasn't the best, and walked out with a gross profit of 47,000, as you guys can see here, trading just Amazon. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to break down my whole day of trading. I want to break down why I got in, why Amazon was on my watch list, where I got in, where I got out, and just kind of break down the whole trading aspect of today. So with that being said, let's dive into why was Amazon on my watch list, right? So why was Amazon on my watch list? Why was that the main name I wanted to trade? So if you guys remember, Amazon had earnings last week, right? So last week, and by the way, today is Monday. The trading day is today for Monday, February 7th, right? So forgot to mention that. But anyways, we had earnings. So when we had earnings, you guys can see, had a crazy gap up day going into Friday. Pretty interesting action on Friday. So seeing all that action kind of made Amazon a prime candidate for today. And I always talk about this, that whenever a company has catalyst or any sort of earnings or anything at all, right? That name may not have a play the next day, but it will possibly have a name in the upcoming days or weeks. So even going into tomorrow, even going into this week, Amazon is going to be a name that I am watching, right? So now what kind of was my pre-market game plan? So obviously me looking at Amazon, me identifying the levels. I know a lot of people play high of the day breakouts, low of the day breakouts, and things like that. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking to see any sort of play on the open. All right, so going on to the open, you guys can see no real action pre-market. I want to see where we start forming a base or where we start forming any sort of rejection. So my first trade came from seeing Amazon open, right? Let me see if I have a chart without any other thing right here. So I look on the open. So we see the open on, where'd the open go? Right here. We see us open, and we opened right at Friday's close. So on Friday's close around 37.50, which was right here, that's the level we kind of bounce around. We start hanging around that 37.50. So let's take a look at the 37.50. We open, make a move from 31.70 to 31.50, make a huge 20-point move down, which is massive. We start seeing a massive bid hold, right around 31.50, right? We start seeing this 31.50 area hold very strong the first 3-4 minutes. So seeing this area hold gives me a little bit confidence. Now, if this area didn't hold very well, we didn't see strength kicking in, we didn't see buying pressure possibly kick in, we didn't see the bids hold and showing some sort of interest with a spread on asks going higher, I would have probably not taken the trade. I would have not had interest. I would have maybe looked to play the downside, right? But seeing that bid area hold, I'm automatically like, okay, this looks like a good opportunity. So I am going to take my first position. My first position, I entered around 9.34 for 14 contracts at 41.75. I did put about 58,000 to give you guys context because I don't want you to see, oh, he made $56,000 on this trade. Did he use 2,000? No, I used about 108 grand on the total trade. Made almost 50, more than 50%, and had an R multiple of almost 4. So I want to first let me kind of give this some context, right? And I'll be the first to say it. And I have these crazy things mentioned of how much I made a day because I know what gets people's attention, right? I understand that this is what's going to get attention, but as I kind of have your attention, I guess I want to go into the proper metrics, the proper things to talk about. Net ROI, I made 53%. Right? R multiple, I had almost the 4R. These two are what should measure a trade's performance. This, as of right now, irrelevant. This, because I know a lot of people focus on, oh, how much did you put in? How much did you make? No, like the end result is not what matters. It's how much did I risk on this trade, right? I risked about 16 grand, right? Let's put that in forefront too. I risked $16,000. I was willing to lose $16,000 if I followed my stop at 38 on my entry. Now, me risking 16,000 and me risking 16,000 netting about 56 gave me a R multiple of 3.88. That means I made 3.88 times my original risk amount on this trade based off obviously what I have to set my stop loss. Yes, I used $108,000 fine. But remember, guys, size starts increasing. Someone that even used $10,000 on this trade, they would have made $5K. right? Netting 53%. Someone that used 20K on this trade would have made $10,000. They would have had a similar R multiple if, let's say, I did the same trade with less size. So stop letting this discourage you. Also, stop chasing this. Chase a good R multiple, making sure that you have proper risk allocated and you're making at least 2 to 3 times per your trade on your risk amount. And then also, obviously, if you get a good ROI, which is arguable because for stocks, you're not going to get this. For options, you are going to get that. And I'm not going to really dive into that too much. So for people that see this and counter argue, oh, well, he put 108,000. Listen, if you want to be good at this and you really want to take this serious, stop, looking at stuff and right off the bat, looking at it from a negative point. Look at the key metrics. And once again, everything that I want you guys to focus on is trade risk. What did this individual risk on a trade? If someone posts that they made 100 grand tomorrow, great. But what did they risk to make 100 grand? Now, if I flip this and let's say my trade risk on this was, I don't know, $70,000. Right? I risked 70K to make 56K. Great. I made 56K. But think about the long run. If I keep having trades where I'm risking 70,000, what do you think will happen in the long run? My account's not going to look like that. 2-3 bad trades will wipe my account out, which is why it's very important to pay attention to that, right? So done with the rant, right? Sorry, I got a little carried away. So anyways, took 14 contracts. We're about 58,000, 41.75. Right? Average price, 934. So I start taking the position around here. I start seeing the bid hold. We start making a move up. And then you guys can see right after that, I add 10 more at 935. Now look at this. On the next 10, look at the contracts, guys. They went to 48.30. On this candle right here, 48.30 is what I paid. I paid about 7 points more. Most of the time, I do want to bring this up. Most of the time, what I would have done is I would have probably sold or scaled out, would have made almost about $10,000 on the trade, and I'm done. Now, the reason I added more, maybe I was biased, maybe not. And once again, I'm trying to walk you through my mindset, right? Maybe I was biased, maybe I wasn't. Because Amazon had earnings last week, because it was a catalyst play, it gave me more confidence that we might see a movement on the open. And if we do see movement on the open, up or down, I'm going to try to hammer that in with more size. So I already had that mentality of adding and sizing unless I saw some hesitation in terms of price action. That gave me confidence. Once again, added more. Now I'm in about 100K, have 24 contracts. And on the first one, I tried to get filled 15, only got filled 14. That's why it's like a weird number. We go down, right? At 939 is where I start taking my entry. Now, also side note, right? When we go into this action at 936, I also was kind of like, if we see another red candle, by the way, we see another push down below 3180, I'm going to go cash. So once again, I want to reinforce on that. When I saw this action, because obviously hindsight 2020, us seeing all of this, right? But when I saw us right here, I got scared a little bit. I don't want to say scared because that's not the proper way to look at trades. But I kind of looked at the trade where, okay, obviously I'm targeting 3,200 in terms of my price. But if we can continue the action here, we might either get chopped or we might get a big reversal here. So I was ready at 936 to exit out of my position. So I also want to bring that up, because people don't really see the in-between of the trades, because like this isn't showing me continuation. This is showing me a little bit of, rejection around 3190, 3180 is holding. So I'm kind of, on the fence. We go into the next candle. We push right through 3190, which gives me confidence. We go to the next candle. This is the wild candle, right? At 938, we get some wild action. We move all the way to 3213. Key level I have, 3210 I want to talk about. Break the 3,200, and we have just a crazy, wick action at 938, right? We go to 938, and I'm kind of also hesitating on trying to sell. And by the way, I did try to sell here. The reason I didn't sell, I tried to get filled at a super high price. I forgot what the contracts were even going for. I sold for 67 on the next one. I think my sell point was at 70. I was trying to sell my contracts for 70, didn't get filled here. And then next candle, we continue the move. Now, 939 is where I took 10 off at 67.90 when I saw a little continuation, just because this candle here, kind of scared me away. And then second, besides it scaring me away, I was just kind of in the mindset of, hey, take some size off. You're up good on this position. And I keep that habit, and you guys are going to see me talk about it. Scale out, scale out, scale out, scale out. So I scale out on this trade. I scale out 10. make 26,000 on that scale out at 939. We keep going, right? As we keep going, I start going into 940 and 943. 940, we see some hesitation again. I scale more out. Now I'm like, okay, we're hitting 3220s. Are we going to stall out at 3220s? Are we going to see some flat price action? What are we going to see at 3220s? Boom, stall out a little bit here. As I stall out, take off 10 at 66.34, and then I let the other trade ride with my other remaining position, which was 4 contracts, and the 4 contracts I got at 943 at 73 plus, and which was right here, another stale out, right? We see the pop. I like to sell into the pops, but I was looking for a tighter continuation with this action. Continuation didn't happen. I was like, listen, I'm done with this trade. I'm out. So by this point, around 943, about a 10-minute trade, I'm out. Netted 56K. Once again, you guys can see running P&L, massive movements on this. The premium just went crazy. Opening drive play is the play that I had on this. Looked for that opening push up with a little bid hold here, which is what I played this with, and saw a nice little continuation move on the upside. Now, typically for month of January, which I will do a recap on, I haven't really gotten the chance to. I've kept my trades, consistent to 1 or 2 trades. A lot of times I would have one good trade, I'd be done. I said also if I have one big trade and I follow it with one bad trade, I need to be done too. Limiting my trades to, less than 4 trades this year, and obviously you have been doing very, very well. So going to my second trade, which wasn't the best trade, I tried to play the downside. Now, once again, very stupid trade. Trade idea did not make sense when I go back to it. And this is why recapping and reviewing your trades, and this is like it's very important, right? So when I look at this trade, I go, what the hell was wrong with me, right? We'll get into that. So I shorted Amazon. I tried to play the downside, okay? So let's go through the metrics. Risked about 50. No, hold on. Invested about 50K. Used 50K capital in this trade. Lost 9,500. Lost 20%. Was originally risking 5,700 based on my stop. Obviously did not follow my stop. That is a mistake. That's a terrible thing. Big red flag to me. Should be a big red flag to you. My R multiple is -1.6R, which means I did not follow my stop. My R multiple should never be more than -1R. Anything more than -1R means I did not respect my stop loss. And here I did not respect my stop loss, which is obviously a big red flag. However, let's go in the trade idea, right? Took the first trade, 948, second exit, 958. 10 minutes trade, 50.72, 41.18 was the trade. So let's go through the chart around 948. So let's look at a bigger picture and see what's happening. So I got in around here, right? Let me just show you. So, we start seeing the fade at 32.34. We start fading into 32.13, the key level that I have, and then we start breaking this key level. So around 948, we start breaking that level. When I see us breaking that level, I'm like, okay, we're seeing weakness. We're seeing heavy rejection at 32.20. We're unable to continue here. I'm going to short this play, and I'm going to catch the downside. Now, something you guys got to keep in mind, from a mental point, playing the upside and downside is very hard to do, right? For some people, maybe not. For some people, it is. But for me, sometimes it does become hard. And overall, it's just a massive shift that you need to, be able to kind of get over, right? So I short here. And, next candle, you guys can see pushes right down below 32.05. We get a nice heavy move. And also, if you look at my running P&L, I was up at 949. I was up about $3,500, right? Based on what I risked and everything, not what I was looking for, but I was up at about $3,400 at one point. We go into the next candle. We start holding the 32.05s, 3200s. We start holding that very well. We go back into 32.20, and when we go into 32.20, this is where I should have looked to offload some of my position. However, this is where I was like, let me add more. I didn't, thank God, right? Thank God I did not add more, but I was very close of doing it. But I said, let me wait for the next candle. If we get a rejection here, I will add more. However, we start seeing a hold. We start trying to break again, and we're not breaking. And now mentally, I start going, well, the candle closed. It was a rejection candle, not a continuation candle. 3220s are looking a little bit scary. Now, rule of thumb, whenever you're in a trade and you start doing things like that, get out. Just get out. Like if I got out at 953, right? At 953, I would have lost $2,200. Just think about that. Like when I was questioning, I would have lost $2,200 instead of $10,000. I lost 5 times more if I followed this plan. and I wouldn't even have lost my original risk amount. Like, just going back to this, I'm like, yo, I'm stupid, like legit stupid, like, right? We keep going, boom, next candle. Okay, sell now, right? Sell. Now now my mind obviously starts elevating the risk. I start saying, well, the high of the day is around 32.30s. We're going into that. We're going to see a rejection. Why sell now? I would take a new short position. Everything in the book. Right now we're at 954. 954 down 4,200. I start hitting my risk amount at this point. We go to the next candle. Boom. Keep going. 956. And before we even go to 957, I'm like, okay, we're going to see a rejection. I'm going to look to short because I'm already biased because I have a position. And once again, at this point, should have cut out. And even if you look at 56, 956, I hit my actual loss amount, right? And then what happens? Boom, break the high of the day. We break the high of the day. I'm still in. I can wait till 958. We go to 958. We continue, and I'm like, shit. Like, now I'm on tilt. Like, guys, look, Green Day, I know, terrible trade, and these are trades we gotta, like, personally, I gotta emphasize on. Same thing for you guys. When you guys have these bad trades, go and be honest with yourself, right? Like, yo, bad trades. Exit here around 958. You guys can see what happens to the action afterwards. Walk out, stupid trade, right? If this was my opening trade, I did go in, if I went in with proper size, let's say 100K, this would have been a 20K loss, right? Thank God I sized down on my second trade in terms of size. It kind of, I guess, I don't know if you want to say saved me, didn't save me, but I have a rule of thumb for that too. Whenever I have one big trade, and you guys are going to see this consistently in my trading, maybe 1 or 2 days I don't have it. But whenever I have a big trade, and obviously a $56,000 trade is a big trade, the second trade will not be followed by the same size. It would be followed by less size always. And if me implementing that rule, even if I was right on this trade, and I've had trades where I've been right, and I was like, damn, I wish I added more. If I added the same size, this would have been a 20K loss. Maybe more emotions would have came in. It would have been a 25K loss. Yes, I'm still green for the day, but it's like, you can't think like that. Why would I even burn 25 grand? Why would I even burn 10 grand? What I was supposed to burn, if I want to call burn, is 5,700. I went to 9,500. I could have prevented all of this by taking a loss in 953 and lost 2,200. But I didn't. Right, I went on complete tilt, and I kind of threw this day away in a way, right? There was a shorting opportunity in Amazon. Amazon did fade midday, right? And when I did see that, obviously I got a little annoyed because I was kind of like, oh, you know, I played the first move right. Maybe I got in a little bit too early. Maybe if I faded or played the short position here or on the second or third top, I would have been able to fade it and catch a nice move. But once again, happy I walked out, happy I closed the day. Obviously still green, 56 grand. But at the end of the day, you really got to go through your trades, guys. You really got to understand the psychological aspect of what you did, what you could have done, right? Just to learn from. Now, going into tomorrow, will I carry this trade, good or bad? No, I've learned from it. I know what I did. I know I will keep certain rules consistent, such as sizing down after a big trade, such as if I do have a bad trade, I'm done for the day, such as when I do have a certain trade, I need to make sure I follow my plans. And this idea here where I messed up needs to be reinforced going into tomorrow for me. That's like from a mental point of how I try to kind of gauge things, right? So yeah, that's my trading day. Once again, pretty solid day. Not happy with this. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you guys on the next video.